The lady died because she was not wearing a helmet.
All right, so things don't seem to be getting any better in South Florida in regards to the e-bike, e-scooter, and now e-skateboard ban. And this is actually pretty official. They don't seem to be letting up on this at all. I've got two different news stories I'm going to be breaking down for you guys. If you're not familiar with this story, I'm going to link in the description below my previous segment talking about this and breaking it down to what led to this ban. So without further ado, let's get into the first news story.
Just into our newsroom, the village of Key Biscayne has passed the ban on e-bikes and e-scooters.
It comes after a deadly crash this week that killed a bicyclist. Local 10 News reporter Leanne Motohong is live in Key Biscayne with the details.
You know, Key Biscayne is a really tight-knit community, and the victim of this crash, Megan Andrews, she was a pillar of it. A longtime resident here, a business owner, someone who was a special education teacher and tutor. So when this crash happened that took her life, it really shocked this community and added to the urgency, prompting this emergency meeting to take place, and now for this ban to be voted on unanimously.
I'm going to pause it right here. Just because a lot of the comments in my previous video had mentioned, like, you know, if a car gets in an accident, you're not going to ban that. If a car hit a person, you're not going to ban a car for that purpose. And I can see that point here. And this isn't to shed like any type of negativity towards this woman that passed away. It is very unfortunate. I don't like to see any of this stuff. I hate seeing like pedestrians getting hit by cars for whatever reason. And I don't want to see a cyclist collide with another cyclist in any way, shape, or form. It's just a knee-jerk reaction, in my opinion, and there's better ways to go about it. I want you guys to dissect exactly what you're hearing from each individual in these videos. I'm going to pause it, and I know a lot of people, you know, kind of get annoyed with me pausing it, but I pause it for the added effect that I want you to use your brain for a second and see how things are being placed in front of you to have some type of a knee-jerk reaction like them. Just think about that.
Key Biscayne's Village Council voting in favor of an emergency ban on e-bikes, e-scooters, and e-skateboards, devices especially popular with...
Pausing it there again. All those kids are wearing helmets, not because they've fallen before, but because their parents are taking the precaution to keep them safe, period. Now, there are laws in most areas where you have to wear a helmet if you're under the age of 16 or 18 years old, so that could play a factor here, and they don't want to get in trouble. But look, they all stopped, waited. Are they on a sidewalk? Yes. Let's remember that. Why are they on a sidewalk? They're on a sidewalk maybe because there is no infrastructure there for them to safely ride their bicycles on the road. People get hit by cars. So would this have been the same story if these kids, let's just say this group of 5 or 6 kids right here, were riding their e-bikes and somebody was looking at their phone or doing their makeup and they ran them down? Would you have been, oh man, we need to put a ban on these cars? Oh, no, they would go to the next thing. We need to put a ban on cell phones. But they're not banning. I mean, how many times you stopped at a red light and everybody's like this? I mean, we're all guilty of it. I've looked at my phone at red lights. I would never drive and consistently look down at my phone and not pay attention. Maybe it's just me. But in general, when it comes down to this, you don't have a knee-jerk reaction. You try to look out. I mean, emotions are heightened, right? People are distraught and sad about this situation. But there needs to be a sound mind. And you're going to hear a sound mind here momentarily, and you're going to hear them get shunned.
This shouldn't be in the sidewalk. It shouldn't be driven by kids. This is a lethal weapon for kids.
The vote came after 2 hours of passionate public comment Friday morning at an emergency meeting of the Village Council scheduled after the death of beloved longtime Key Biscayne resident Megan Andrews.
But I think everybody in this room knew this tragedy was going to happen.
Well, if you knew it was going to happen, what do you think on why it was going to happen? You know, if you knew something like this was going to happen, you immediately wouldn't be thinking, oh man, they're going to hit these pedestrians. How can we keep these kids safer? Why are they on the sidewalks in the first place? They're on the sidewalks, like I already said, because they don't want to be on the same roads as the cars. Maybe you should be worrying about the kids. This is me, you know, my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with me in the comments below. But again, I'm not trying to hold any judgment against this woman. And I'm not trying to say that her death, you know, has no meaning. I'm just saying that this is a knee-jerk reaction, and sometimes you need to collect your thoughts and go about it a different way.
We just didn't know who it was going to happen to.
The crash that claimed Andrew's life happened around 7 p.m. Wednesday evening at the intersection of Hampton Lane and Woodcrest Road. Andrews was riding her bicycle.
So it looks like two stop signs there. One or both of them could have blown it. And I constantly see, I mean, even my last segment, I constantly see multiple golf carts rolling around. You know, they're not cars. Maybe they're not on sidewalks, but this accident happened on the roadway. All right. I do want to make that clear. I want to know, did one or both of them run a stop sign and that's why they collided? I don't see any heavy lighting there. Supposedly this happened at 7 p.m., so it was definitely dark. These things play a factor in my opinion.
Collided with a 12-year-old on an e-bike. The boy who wore a helmet had minor scratches and bruises. Andrews, who was not helmeted, died on scene.
The lady died because she was not wearing a helmet.
Pausing it there. The police already started to go up there to try to litigate the situation and handle it. When the other people were talking, this is what I don't like about like the politics of things. I like to sit back and I will listen to your points. I will not boo you, disagree with you. I will let you finish your point, finish your thought, and then the next person will come up and have their point. That I think is wrong. Imagine if it was the other way around. They're all saying why they think it should be banned, why they think they shouldn't be on the sidewalks and all that stuff. And then next thing you know, somebody's like, this happened because of this. It would be an outburst and it'd be on the other side. It would be like, you're wrong for even having an outburst. Nobody's saying these people are wrong for having an outburst. It's a knee-jerk reaction. It's an emotional reaction. It's understandable to be emotional, but this is wrong. I want you guys to hear what she said one more time, and you're going to hear what the news broadcaster said that I think is such a point you want to drive home.
The lady died because she was not wearing a helmet.
A town resident who brought up that fact was booed and escorted from the room.
Brought up that fact. Didn't bring up her opinion. Brought up that fact. And was booed and escorted from the meeting. That I think is wrong. I don't care. Even if it was the other side. I think it is terribly wrong that you boo and escort out. She wasn't being aggressive there. She wasn't being combative. She didn't have any weapons on her. She said something that somebody disagreed with. They didn't like. That's where things are going now. And that's what I think is messed up. And at the end of the day, the news said it right. She brought up a fact. And sometimes facts really hurt feelings. And I'm not trying to be mean or funny at all with that. I'm just saying sometimes facts do hurt. But it's a fact.
Were packed with residents, many of whom were personal friends of Andrews, who all said they were in support of the ban. Andrews' family sat in the front row.
We all love her so much and are so sorry for all of you.
The council says they've tried to address e-bike safety in the past. Both the city attorney and residents pointed out that state law...
I will say right there, those kids are wrong. They shouldn't be on the sidewalk. There is a green lane there for them to ride on. So that etiquette, the riding etiquette, was definitely wrong on that, and that footage was properly used.
Somewhat restricted.
He's on the green line, or she is on the green line. They're doing it proper, you know. So I call it where I see it. Those two on the sidewalk should not be on the sidewalk.
Ability to address the issue.
I mean, the state has really precluded these people from doing their job up there.
You're faced with the free state of Florida telling you that you don't have the power to regulate them.
Regulate them. We've talked about this before when it comes to e-bike licenses, regulations, making things mandatory where you have to take them down to the DMV to get brakes tested, make sure your battery is proper, has a UL certification, which I do agree with that part for just the safety of your own home. But regulations, man, you're getting really, it's kind of going a different direction here. You know, it's like, I've said this before, where these states are starting to realize that they're not getting as many registrations with cars and insurance for cars. At the end of the day, to insure a car, fuel a car, register a car, all these things cost a lot of money. Not just to mention buying the car, right? Because at the end of the day, people look at it like, oh, wow, this e-bike would get me from point A to point B. It's a one-time purchase of, I mean, you can get them as little as $500. I'll list a bunch of Amazon ones in the description, you know, below for you to be able to check out. that are under $500 that are UL certified that will get you from point A to point B and save you so much more money than registering a car, insuring a car, and buying a car. And a lot of people reach out to me thanking me for that type of stuff. And I think it's awesome. I think you're taking it away with a knee-jerk reaction from the people, the other people that actually need this type of stuff. Just because a couple of kids are riding on the sidewalk, or for this happening, it became a collision that took a woman's life, which is, again, terrible. Should do some type of fundraiser in her honor to promote bicycle safety. You know, it's sad. Let's finish out this and we'll get right into the next news one.
And that's partially because bicycles e-bikes are considered to be bicycles because they can be turned off and pedaled like a regular bicycle. That, of course, is something that people here were quite upset about, saying that the fact that they can go upwards of 25, 30 miles an hour.
I hate that argument because I can go 25 miles an hour on my road bike. I've gone and consistently can average 20 to 25 miles an hour on my road bike. Real dangerous thing, I've been on the trail before where there's a school of road bike riders with their heads down, and naturally, because you're trying to get the right aerodynamics, you're not trying to have a bunch of wind resistance, are looking down and they don't see me, and they're doing well over what I'm doing, like 25 or maybe even some of them do 30 miles per hour because of the tailwind or whatever it might be. And if we collided, yes, that would have been catastrophic. I'm wearing a helmet, they're wearing a helmet. People would be really hurt. So I hate that argument, like, oh yeah, the e-bike, you know, because it has a motor, it's able to reach that speed. No, not necessarily. Maybe for them using the throttle. And that's probably where they're going to get around some regulations. I'm not going to give them any ideas here, but if you ride e-bikes on a regular basis, you know how they'll be able to regulate them. And if anybody's watching this that ends up teaming up with them for some money, I'll definitely will call you out in a segment.
Completely different from a bicycle. Back to that ordinance. It's an emergency ordinance. What does that mean? It means it goes into effect immediately, so it is in effect right now. And they also say that it's in effect for 60 days. In the meantime, before that lapses, they're going to get together. They're going to start working on exactly what will be the long-term rule that will go into effect that they can vote on regarding these e-bikes. A big challenge also is Crandon Boulevard. It runs the entire length of the key, but it is controlled by Miami-Dade County. Commissioner Raquel Regalado was here to talk about that. She says she's going to be coming to the county commission to ask them to vote on whether the city of Key Biscayne can actually control and enforce their laws on Crandon, even though it's supposed to be controlled by the county. So there are a lot.
Oh, what's going to happen there is they're going to get a no, but then they're going to try to convince them to then enforce it on their roads. So they're going to go wider than this little county. This is getting big. I'm telling you, 2024 is the big year for e-bike laws.
Moving parts here, but bottom line is that this emergency ordinance has been voted on and the ban is now in place. First citations or first encounters will come with warnings. After that, violators will be fined. Reporting live in Key Biscayne, Leanne.
Whatever. Next story. Straight into it.
Also in the news here tonight, a South Florida community banning e-bikes after a tragic accident claimed the life of a beloved resident. Tonight, mourners gathering with heavy hearts at a memorial being held for that victim.
I know it's a lot of the same things you're hearing, but it's always good to dissect it from multiple news sources to see if they've got different stories or if they're fluffing things up to kind of get clicks.
The night team Samantha Sosa is live in Key Biscayne, where it was held. Samantha.
And you can see the candles still burning from this moving memorial. Hundreds of people came out to pay their respects to this crash victim, and loved ones say that they are relieved something is being done about e-bikes.
Just happy that we could be here to honor Megan and think of her and have her in our memories. She was an angel on earth, and now she's an angel in heaven.
Countless candles up in the air for 66-year-old Megan Andrews, a lifelong beloved member of the Key Biscayne community whose life was cut short Wednesday. She was an avid bicyclist and an educator who tutored local students in her free time.
She helped so many kids out here, so many kids that were struggling. She'd just take them in her little schoolhouse in the back and get them caught up and build up their confidence, and that's what she did for us.
And that's amazing. these are all amazing stories. I'm not even going to discount them. I'm leaving them up here so people can get an idea of who this person was. I'm not discounting the person's death. Not at all. Like I said, this is about the knee-jerk reaction to ban permanently, which we're going to get to in a moment. They're permanently banning these. They're not going to be trying to push through legislation. They're saying that they're doing the 60-day ban to try to push through legislation, but you're going to hear something very interesting here coming at the end of this part.
Megan was one of those rare people who truly saw the best in everyone that she met.
A memorial attended by Andrew's husband Frank and other family members, drawing hundreds of friends and neighbors to the area of Woodcrest Road and Hampton Lane. This is where police say Andrews was riding her bicycle when a 12-year-old on an e-bike crashed into her, killing her. People arranging flowers and candles on the corner of the crash. The tragedy prompting renewed debate over e-bikes and electric scooters. Key Biscayne's mayor holding an emergency village council meeting, where members unanimously voted to ban e-bikes and scooters for the next 60 days.
We're going to look for other solutions, but if we don't find those, we will continue the ban as long as we can.
You heard that? We will continue the ban as long as we can. It's not going anywhere. And I've said this earlier, if this woman was struck by a vehicle, a car, yes, that driver probably would get some type of manslaughter charge. But would they ban cars? No. Is this kid going to get charged? I don't even know the outcome. But I know that if a pedestrian is crossing the road and a vehicle hits the pedestrian, it's pretty clear in how it happened, right? Either the person walked through the crosswalk when they weren't supposed to, and they got hit because the driver was driving through a green light, or the driver ran a red light and hit the pedestrian, and then the driver's charged. It's pretty easy to dissect that. This, I haven't heard anything, any real legitimate evidence based around how this accident even happened, except for the fact that it happened at an intersection. So, let's get into it.
Andrew's loved ones who say e-bikes have been a dangerous problem on the island for years.
You got to figure this out, and that's what we've been asking for a long time. Take a break. And tonight is the first night I've walked on sidewalks and streets and felt like I could possibly be safe.
Oh my God. I'm going to roll my eyes at that comment. I mean, come on. Really? You live outside of your little community, right? And then tell me what safety is. You got a gated community there, and you don't even know what safety is.
Police haven't said whether the 12-year-old involved in this crash will face any consequences. We're reporting live in Key Biscayne.
Anyway, so that is the gist of it. You know, I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. If you believe that, one, this 12-year-old should be charged, will be charged. Should they put a permanent ban? That's what they're doing. And maybe this isn't an easy way. I mean, you have a right-leaning state like Florida that's able to do this. And I hate to say politics, but if you're pushing through legislation, like states like California and New York are trying to push through legislation to ban or regulate these things, it's going to become way easier now that you have a state like Florida doing a knee-jerk reaction like this. This is really sad that this woman passed away the way that she did. At the same time, this is a knee-jerk reaction that shouldn't have happened. You know, it's easier said, I guess, sitting where I'm at right now, it's not a loved one of mine, but I've had enough traumatizing things happen to me that I can rationally think through something. I know I can tell that it's an accident, and accidents happen. So with that being said, I want to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section below. Try to keep it friendly. Feel free to disagree with me in the comment section below. If you guys have any other questions about previous videos, put those in the comment section. If you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.